asking protection, running away from shaitan to the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To begin everything with His name, inshallah Rahman. In that way we will be blessed. The name of Allah. What is beside His name? Prophet's name. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Allah is without a partner. Prophet ﷺ is His beloved, is a creature. And that name is, Allah has put it right beside His holy name. And it is because of the barakat of that name that our grandfather Adam alayhi salam, he was asking forgiveness for the sake of that name, and he was forgiven. So when we sing Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, included in that also is the salawats and the praises to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Rahman and Rahim, the names of Allah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has addressed those names to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, hasn't He? Those two names are the Al-Hayrat, the Al-Sharif. Not only Rahman and Rahim, Ra'uf and Rahim. Wahhabis, they don't like the Al-Hayrat. They cannot say we don't like Quran. Any Wahhabis say they don't like Quran. In reality, they don't like Quran anyway. Because how can a person who loves the Quran have such hatred for the Prophet ﷺ, that the Quran was sent to him? Anyone who loves the Quran, how can they hate the Prophet so much that they want to blow up his tomb? How can they? How can you? That the Quran came from the lips, from the mouth of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. It is the word of Allah. But Prophet is speaking it. So call that shirk. You understand? It is the word of Allah. But who is speaking it? Allah? Is Allah speaking it? Speaking it through the tongue of the Prophet ﷺ. So why are you not saying it's the word of the Prophet? That's what the unbelievers are saying. 24 hours, 1500 years almost they are saying, correct? That foolish Muslims, they get so excited when the media or the kafirs say anything validating about our religion that we've known, that we don't need anyone's validation for 1400 years. To understand that once they start validating, tomorrow they're going to make just one big fitna. They're excited. They found some Quran in the Birmingham. 1400 years old. Subhanallah. Whole Muslim was saying, you see. Very excited. Say media then report some foolish empty-head professor saying that we carbon tested the paper, and you know papers, especially parchment paper, there is still in existence parchment paper that is 1400 years old, correct? Or 1500 years old. Didn't they find that parchment paper? So how old is that parchment paper? 1400 years old. So for example, we take that parchment paper and then we write on the back the Declaration of Independence. Can we do it? Of course we can do it. Then another foolish idiot will carbon test that parchment and say, Declaration of Independence was written 1400 years ago, because the paper says it is. Empty head ones, and Muslims getting so excited. One way or another. The believer has to be stable. The believer is certain. The believer does not need anyone to validate, because he finds out the faith through himself, by himself. Of course, Allah is Ya Hadi. He is the one who gives the guidance. But the believer is not looking for media or Facebook or social media to give himself an identity, to give himself meaning, to give himself wisdom, especially not to give himself spirituality. Because he finds out through his own spirit what is the meaning of all this. This is what the believer must do. That time, the believer doesn't care if the whole world believes in him or in what he believes in, or the whole world is opposed to that. Because he knows by himself, because he has gained what? Certainty. And it is the prayer of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. His dua says, we're praying Allah until we reach certainty, until we reach yaqeen. How are you going to have yaqeen? How are you going to have yaqeen? How are you going to have certainty if you are not looking at that faith that you have and testing and washing and cleaning and polishing it up? If you're not putting pressure on it, if you are not... How is a diamond made? Diamond has the same element as a piece of coal, isn't it? They're both carbon. But one you burn, you don't care. And the other one you care so much that people kill each other for that, and they put it on top of their heads. If you want the faith to turn to be the faith that is valuable, like that piece of coal, it has so much pressure on it, it becomes a piece of diamond. That time you get the yaqeen. You think your faith is what? Free? Just coming, just like that? Allah is the one who grants, but He says, now find me. He grants it to you, He says, now find me. He grants everyone faith. Faith is in their heart. But He says, now find me. Wherever you see, you will find me. Wherever you face, you will find me. Wherever you turn, you will see my face. But look and you will find. If you don't look, you're never going to find nothing. So now, we are asking for certainty in these very confusing days. How are you going to find certainty? How are you going to find certainty? These days, people think that when they read so much, they were going to find certainty. Then your faith is like that paper. Your faith is like that parchment. It can be washed, it can be burned. That is your faith. Meaning, one day someone is going to write something you believe, next day someone is going to write something else, and you disbelieve. One day, they're going to print 100 books, and they say, look, you see, this proves that you are right, your faith goes up. The next day, they're going to print 1,000 books that says, look, all these things are wrong, and your faith is going to go down. So our faith is just according to paper. Or these days, there's not even any paper. Virtual reality. What is virtual? When you say virtual reality, what is that saying? It's saying it's almost reality, meaning it is not reality. It is fake. So the religion becomes fake. The faith becomes fake. Instead of religion, faith becomes certain, it becomes fake. Because you're going there to find your faith. Where are you going to find your faith? If not in books, you cannot find in books. My faith is in the Quran, you're saying. Which Quran? Quran that is printed by publishing houses. The Quran that you read and you understand according to your own nafs. Which Quran? When you say, I want to believe in the Quran that was revealed to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that we're going somewhere. Because now you say, I want to believe in the way that the Prophet was believing and the way that he taught the Sahabi Kiram, the companions, to be believing. So now you hit it. You're following a protocol. It's coming back to your question. Don't sleep. Going back to your question. So now, you're trying to believe according to whom belief was given. Our belief is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That is our belief. So the belief was given to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and he gives to his entire nation. Some, they have more belief than others. If you have less belief, go to those ones who have more belief. You cannot go all the way to the Prophet ﷺ. He is no longer here physically. Spiritually, he is. Spiritually, he is amongst us. He is inside of us. That's why those shaitanic quote 19 people, that so many high-level scholars, politicians, what more we can say, TV religious personalities, they all belong to that offshoot of that Masonic club. There's quote 19. And they hate that ayat. And what is that ayat? That ayat that we first mentioned, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that Allah has given the attributes of Ra'uf and Rahim. Laqad ja'akum. Those shaitanic quote 19 people, they're saying everything is 19, everything is 19, 19, 19, 19, 19, 19. Allah is not bound by any law. He can make the law and he can go above the law, of course, because he is the creator of the law. Everything is 19, everything. They found out, oops, which idea, that 19 idea, was not by any saint, was not by any scholar, is from people, unbelievers' idea. That they took it, hey, why not? Let's put it in the Quran, let's find out. They found out so many things. Just because Allah is saying, and over it there are 19 there. They say everything must, then they found out there are certain things that doesn't fit into the 19. They say, then we must take it out. Then we must take it out. They start taking out the ayats of the Quran to make it fit into the quote 19. They find every historical proof to say this was added later, this is this is that. They finished their faith. They finished their faith. And the ayat, first ayat that they took out was Laqad ja'akum. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising his Prophet ﷺ, saying the Prophet ﷺ, he loves his nation so much. He loves the believers. He is tender-hearted to the believers, he is firm to the unbelievers, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him Ra'uf and Rahim. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that he is within us, he is amongst us. So now, you want faith. You want your faith to become yakin. Find those ones who have that certainty. You asked me that question, how I met Shaykh Effendi. As so many of you who met Shaykh Effendi are looking for him or finding his representative, because you were looking. Whatever that you are going to look, you will find. If you are looking and you're sincerely looking, you will find. If not one day, then 100 days. If not 1 year, then 10 years. But you will find if you are sincere. What was I looking for? Ultimately, we are all looking for Allah. But we don't know which road to take to find Allah. Ultimately, we all want to have certainty to live our faith, so that our faith is not just saying La ilaha illallah, or certain times when we're making zikr. If we're making zikr, these days, murids, when we're making zikr, they're busy with other things. They're busy with their iPhones, they're busy with this, they're busy with that. I find out some people are making a zikr, they're even checking shopping. What do you think that's going to happen? You think this is an empty association? There are others that are circling around. The malaikas are circling around. There are other ones are circling around. You don't give good manners in the circle of Allah. They will smack you. The only thing that stops you from getting smacked when you don't show that respect is the Shaykh. And he may lift his hand from that protection to teach you a lesson because you are being arrogant and stubborn. Forget about being ghaflat. Maybe a person is ghaflat in a split second. When a person is in ghaflat, immediately he understands and he comes back to his senses. When you come back to your senses and right away you do it again and again and again and again, it's not showing ghaflat. You're showing it's very deliberate. You're showing arrogance and stubbornness. Two qualities that only the fire can get rid of. So you want your faith to be yakin, find those ones who have strong faith. Be with them. Allah is saying, be with the salihin. They're going to tell you how to do it. They're going to show you how to do it. But don't think that diamond is common. It is very rare. Don't think that something that is rare is going to be very cheap and it comes easy. It is not going to be. If there's not pressure on it, if there's no strength in it, if you're not putting your heart and your sweat and your blood and your tears in it, it's no for nothing. It's not worth. People come up to me and says, brother, please don't talk like this. Faith is easy, you know. Allah doesn't want to make things difficult. That's right. This is easy. All these things is very easy. You know what's difficult? To live like an animal out there. Because you will die like an animal. And you watch everyone around you dying like animals too. You think that's easy to see your children, your wives, your daughters, your loved ones to be living like animals, to be treated like animals and to die like animals? If you think that's easy, go ahead. That's what this whole world is going through anyway. This whole world is in suffering. Because they say Allah wants us to live like animals. And I say religion is very easy. Don't make it so difficult for people. Our role model is the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his companions, no one else. Not your philosophy, not your history, not your art, not your literature, not your imagination, not your illusion, not your delusion. Them. We look at their lives, and if we compare our lives to their lives, our lives is a luxury. But if others look at our lives, they say we're living in a hell. So many of you think you're living in hell anyway. Because you say, I want to be free. Death is waiting for us. Death is waiting for us. Every single day, the earth at least 40 times is crying out to you, but your hearts are dead to say, you walk so proudly on me. Oh, insan. One day soon you're going to be inside of me and I will grind you to pieces. And the believer who believes that and is reminding himself of death, reminding himself that he has to have a good faith, to have a yaqeen, he's going to hear that call and he's going to fix himself right away. When somebody reminds him, immediately he wakes up and he fixes himself. He doesn't need that time for people to be yelling at him, to be convincing him, nothing. A little bit of a sign, he knows he has to correct himself. So, how did I meet Shaykh Effendi? Because I was looking, as all of you are. Nothing special. Nothing special about me. We were looking. All of you are looking. And we met Shaykh Effendi. In reality, he is the one who's been looking for us. Because he is our Shaykh since the day that we are born. He was our Shaykh and our guide from the day of promises. And they're just waiting for us to wake up to our own senses and to hold tightly to them. They say, now we begin a journey. We are in that journey. This is the beginning. May Allah make it easy for us, open the way for us, forgive all our shortcomings. We are very dirty creatures. May Allah remove all bad eyes and fitna from us. May all our wrong characteristics turn into good characteristics. May those ones who have passed, our ancestors, have more mercy. And from Allah, may Allah lighten their graves and expand their dwelling places in the grave. And may our zuriyat, may our progeny, those ones who are coming after us, be good ones, good servants to Allah. Forgive us, Ya Rabbi. We are your weak creatures. We have nowhere else to turn to except to you for your mercy, for the sake of the most beloved one in the divine presence, the Prophet ﷺ, Sultan al-Awliya and Sahib al-Saif. May his hands always be protecting us. May we always be under his feet. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha.